Hey guys, so this is to finish the multiple choice review for the practice we started today. That was the passage about taxonomy. So we read that passage. We've already gone over questions 1 through 4. We just have 2 questions to go back over. Remember, all that's happening in the multiple choice questions is exactly what happens when we do rhetorical analysis for the FRQ. So when we are annotating and looking at the rhetorical situation, speaker, purpose, audience, context, and exigence, and then the choices, appeals, and the tone, SpaceCat is exactly what we're doing in multiple choice. So like when we talked about purpose of the passage, that's purpose. Rhetorical situation here, context. 3 was about the audience. 4 was choices. So let's look at number 5. The author mentions glassblowing and harpsichord manufacture to suggest that taxonomy is what? So think about what glassblowing and harpsichord manufacture have in common. Do you know a lot of glassblowers or harpsichord manufacturers? Probably not. So let's look at number 1, a field characterized by antiquated practices. Let's go up and read our third sentence really quickly. Like glassblowing and harpsichord manufacturers, so the author chose to use a simile here. Taxonomy of many kinds, so it's comparing taxonomy to glassblowing and harpsichord manufacturer for a reason. There's a purpose behind this choice. Taxonomy of many kinds of organisms has been left in the hands of a small number of unappreciated specialists who have had few opportunities to train their successors. So there's only a few people left in this career choice of taxonomy, and they're comparing that to the field choices of glassblowing and harpsichord manufacturers. So let's look and see. The author mentions them to suggest that taxonomy is what? A field characterized by antiquated practices. Antiquated would mean they're outdated, they're not needed anymore. Well, are there still people who blow glass? Yes. It's not that it's antiquated. An art that is extremely difficult to master. Maybe that might be why there's so few, but that doesn't really tell us that. We know that, that is one reason, but I don't think that's the main point. One reason glassblowing and harpsichord and taxonomy is not studied by a lot of people is it is probably more difficult to master, but I don't think that's the point the author was making. A profession practiced by relatively few people. Maybe that sounds pretty reasonable. An area of expertise with various practical applications, or a discipline that has limited usefulness. Go ahead and think about what you think your answer might be. The answer is C, a profession practiced by relatively few people. That's why they're saying it's resting on just a few specialists. Look. It's left in the hands of just a small number of people, and they're not appreciated. They have few opportunities to train their successors, so it might become a dying science. Let's look at our last practice question. The author uses the word obscure in the first sentence of paragraph 3 to mean, so this is talking about word choice, diction, which is part of the choices. All right, now we have to understand what some words mean. Ambiguous. Remember, ambiguous means you can't really understand it. It can mean one thing, it can mean another. Incomprehensible, we know what that means. Not well known, uncertain, or unusually small. So let's go to the first sentence of paragraph 3. The study of classification and expertise on obscure groups of organisms such as periwinkles, leeches, springtails, and mites may receive the needed boost by association with what has come to be known as biodiversity studies. All right. So if you're looking at periwinkles, leeches, springtails, and mites, it needs a needed boost for some reason. And it's this group of organisms. Let's look at what our options were again. Is it ambiguous? Is it hard to understand because it could be one thing or another? No. Is it incomprehensible? Is like, could you not understand what a mite is or what a leech is? No. Not well known. From what we've seen in the early pieces of this text, we've seen that you've got too few biologists. There's this study of plants and animals that not many people, because they're specialists, not many people know about them. Yeah, it's probably going to be not well known. Uncertain. No, they're not uncertain about whether it's a leech or a mite. And are they small? Well, those things are small, but that was not the point of that choice. He didn't choose to use obscure for that. And if you know the meaning of obscure, then you know it means it's something that not many people know about. The answer is C. Okay, so that, remember, when you're looking at your multiple choice quiz tomorrow, you're going to think about how we analyze SpaceCat, our rhetorical situation, situation, purpose, audience, context, exigence, and then how we look at our choices, our appeals, and our tone. The questions we ask in our head when we're annotating are the same kind of questions we're going to think about when we're looking at our multiple choice questions. And really quickly before I leave, for your quiz tomorrow, here are a few terms that I thought you may have a little bit of trouble with. You can look them up and be familiar with the words. You can have them in front of you tomorrow if you would like. That's fine. For your first test. Nominalized, anecdote, keenly, rationale, inherent, ambiguous, and convoluted. Tomorrow, you will just make sure when you come to our Zoom class that you're already logged into Google Classroom. AP Classroom, and ready to go. As soon as I take roll, we will get started. You will have a 30-minute time to write, and then 20 minutes to complete your multiple choice. And honestly, I'm just going to give you the whole hour. You figure out how much time you need for the multiple choice and the writing, but you only have 53 minutes. So you'll have to kind of play with your time there. All right. I'm suggesting you spend about 20 minutes on the multiple choice and 30 minutes on your write. Have a good evening, and I'll talk to y'all later. Bye, y'all.